excitement. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome to Live at the Bike, presented by Poker Netcast. We have an amazing game for you tonight. 25.50, 10K min buy-in. I'm David Tuckman. He's Bart Hansen. Without further ado, let's get to the table.
Yeah, as Dave said, 25.50. It's going to be 200 big blind buy-in. What's interesting to players, that's Brian over in seat 1. Sometimes people call him Beavis. Fresh off of a
just won an 80K tournament.
80K tournament. We all know him over in seat number 2. As we pan over to seat 2, well, that's seat 3. Seat number 2 is Corporation Mike. There's Corporation Mike. Seat number 3, that is Stealth Monkey. Oh, Stealth Monk, excuse me. That's Justin out of seat 3.
I thought it was Phil Hellman. That's not Phil?
Seat number 4 is Joel.
Kidding, joke.
There's Joel, and we've seen him on the show a lot. Seat number 5, another guy that we've seen a couple of times. I've played with him a bunch. That's Zack. He's a pretty solid player. New player here over in seat 6. She's getting involved in a big hand here. That is Susie Q. Girl player. Always nice to have girls at high stakes.
She's got a vagina.
Yep.
Confirmed by many.
Seat number 7, that is Farhad. And we love him. That's seat number 8 is Barry, Don't Call Me Greenstein Woods.
So we're 8-handed here. A
big hand right off the bat here.
I'll be honest.
Wow. That is, I mean, that's unbelievable.
I gave somebody that big hand is awesome.
A jack or a 7, that's all it's going to do it. Now, you said that Brian is prone to tilting.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Exactly.
By the way, as a quick aside, people are asking me what Susie Q went by on the podcast. Actually, if you go and listen to Little Hippie, episode with Little Hippie, that was what she was named. We've got a couple big hands here, Ace King and Ace Queen.
Corporation Mike with the Ace King, and Zach with Ace Queen in seat number 5. He's on the button.
Raise to 175.
So you got a raise from Mike to 175 with the Ace King. You're going to get a call here.
Actually, we're going to see a 3-bet here from Joel. Yep.
Well, that may get rid of Zach, who's got Ace Queen.
Yep.
Quarter 575 now.
You know, Zach plays it pretty solid, pretty tight, but he knows exactly what's going on. I've actually played
a full ring game. Ace Queen, you got to get.
Well, you can sometimes you can actually 4-bet that if you think that and use those blockers and try to pick up the dead money if you think Joel's making a play, and obviously Mike's not going anywhere here.
Okay, no. I'm gonna bring in 575, 2,000 on top.
Yeah, Mike has re-raised it 2,000 more.
Yep.
He is, he's played with Joel enough, he doesn't believe him. Now, or maybe if he does believe him, he doesn't care because he's got Ace King.
Well, this is where it gets into interesting situations when you start playing 200 BBs or more deep. Is Mike going to get it in here? Is he prepared to get it in with Ace King? Because I don't think he's ever folded.
But at this point, I think for sure.
I mean,
I don't think
Joel started with 10,000.
Yeah, but I don't think at this point he's putting Mike's not putting 2,000 in to fold to a shove.
But my point, though, is that I don't think that that's really good, 200 BBs deep. If you're going to get it in with Ace King offsuit, you really put yourself in a world of hurt, which really means that I don't like his 4-bet, and I don't like his 4-bet sizing. You know what I mean? Like, he's committing himself.
Well, that's what, yeah, exactly. I mean, you were asking me, and she's obviously a very capable player.
So you should see the beat he just gave me. Oh my God. You gotta hear this thing.
Right now it's between you, Farhad, and that's here, sir.
So Mike has been involved in, I want to say, 3 big pots, all in excess of $7,000. And he's got sucked out on the smallest one, but sucked out on the 2 biggest ones.
And Farhad's got a lot of chips over there. Yeah, and obviously, like I said, I mean, I like to see Barry win anyways. It's way better for the game as well. This game, I think, is going to slow down a little bit now, Dave.
I don't know. I think it's just going to change. I mean, I think without Barry in there, I mean, I think you might see Justin in seat 3 start picking up the 3-betting a little bit, start taking advantage of different spots. I still think this game is going to be fairly active. I mean, I'll put it this way. I only really see one very tight player in the game, and that's Zach. But even Zach raising on the button. This is a collection pot, by the way. The yellow diskette in the middle of the screen, in the middle of the pot, middle of the table. Sorry, signifies that. The pot has to be minimum, I want to say $600, and whoever wins the pot will pay collection for everybody.
Well, here we go again with the 4-bet with Ace King, and we've got a spot where twice people have 3-bet Mike with suited little aces when Mike's had Ace King, and Mike has put it back, put the hammer down. It looks like Zach's only 5K deep, so I think Mike was going to get it in. I just want to know if Mike's going to get it in with Ace King offsuit against the 10K stack.
First two bluffs. Then I have Ace King or Ace Jack of Hearts in the big blind. He makes it 175. I call. The flop comes Ace Jack.
No, there wasn't. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was.
Hope you're enjoying the show tonight. 25-15, no limit hold'em. Corporation, Mike, Stealth Monk, Joel, Zach, Farhad, Trish, and Brian. Susie Q has gotten up. Susie Q won about, I want to say about $5,000, $4,000. She had a pretty good day.
Race 175.
A little bit of a hit and run from Susie Q.
I think she just decided that the game wasn't as live as it was earlier, and she decided just to call it a night.
Well, I maintain, I think game selection is probably, I think game selection and money management is probably the two most underrated and most important things when it comes to playing poker.
Absolutely, and I think that's a big thing that newcomers to the game don't understand. 175 raise from Zach and C5 call from Farhad.
Nothing there for anybody so far.
Joel's not in the hand.
Zach with top pair. He's going to check it one more time.
You do not want to sit.
And he's going to give his opponent a chance to bluff him. And I imagine, you're checking two straights so you can call off, and he is going to call this. And my guess would be that Zach is going to also check the river, regardless of what comes out. Yep, he checks one more time. And there's another bet here from Farhad, and an automatic call.
You got me.
Well, you know what? Give Zach some credit. He flopped two pair, and he played the hand slow, but he induced a bluff, and he knew exactly what he was doing. I obviously knew he was good because he snap calls him on the river.
I didn't know he was beatable.
And Zach hasn't played many hands, but he's now up about $1,200, $1,500.
And he hasn't seen Farhad play many hands, but he played it perfectly against that specific opponent.
Yep, he did. But yeah, I maintain there's so many players that they think, well, if I read the books and I study and I go on 2+2 and I talk to my friends about poker and I really study the game, I can beat any game. And sometimes it becomes an ego thing where they want to beat the best, and they want to beat that guy at the casino who's got them. And to me, it's really...
Raise.
And there's the raise from Zach. He's going to make it 200. After a couple limpers get in there.
He has pocket queens, and Justin is going to call, and so is our new guy, Alec, with the threes. Three-handed. 600.
Yeah, pot 600. And King, Jack, Deuce, couple of spades out there. Zach in the lead. And he's going to check behind. Doesn't like the king out there, possibly. And Stealth Monk now picks up a pair of nines. And...
I'm surprised that actually Zach takes one more card here, and he's really not going to like his check behind twice when he sees this card, unless he just intends to fold. He just gave up.
This is the issue though now. I mean, you've checked behind twice, and it looks like, okay, my opponent maybe is bluffing. Or then again, you know what? If I had Ace Jack here, I would bet it for value. You know what I mean? If I had a Jack, I might be betting it for value. So which is, by checking twice there, you force yourself to make this call.
Shut up.
But when Zach sees this, he's going to say, no, why, oh, why did I let that get...
I don't necessarily hate the check behind on the flop. I mean, we can talk about that, and there's, obviously you can debate it, but I'm probably betting that turn, I'm probably betting the
95% of the time, when you're checked to twice?
Yeah, I'm probably going to bet it, because I just don't want it, I don't want some random three to come off, and then I have to pay my opponent off.
Well, how about numerous draws? I mean, chances are really good. When you're checked to twice, your queens are the nuts on that turn. But even so, why let somebody catch a 2-outer? I mean, there's a $600 pot to go for. It's nothing to sneeze at.
Well, no, we were talking about it earlier on. There's that equity of there's $600 in the pot that you don't want to lose. But even worse than that, you're never going to get value from your queens generally. I mean, unless a 9 were to fall. But no, you actually lose. I'm sorry, because you didn't full house there. I mean, unless your opponents basically get there, and in that case, not only are you going to lose the $600 that's in the pot, you're going to lose whatever they bet too. So you're going to actually end up losing about $1,000.
So we saw Zach play 2 hands. One was against Farhad, and this hand against 2 opponents, which he played both in the exact same manner. It worked really well for him against Farhad, who is a bluffer. But playing this hand against 2 opponents in position, checking behind all streets, didn't quite work out for him. He does raise this hand with 10s, 125.
Yeah, pot is $400, and we'll see this 3 ways. Zach, Corp Mom, and Farhad. This time Zach is going to bet.
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to do that again. He does bet and takes this down.
I mean, I think there are spots to check behind, and I don't necessarily mind checking behind, especially when your opponent is prone to bluffing, because you're basically, you're inducing a bluff that you can pay off, and it worked earlier on. We saw that with Farhad. But when your opponents check twice, generally speaking, they have given up on a pot. Obviously,
well, and it's
things change.
Extremely likely that your queens are good, and even if they're not, I mean, let's say you bet half the pot on the turn there with your queens, and you get raised, you can reassess. Do they have a king? Did they possibly check twice with a king or a huge hand? And if you have to fold, you have to fold. But checking twice usually isn't the optimal play.
We go to chat on Buddy. Buddy says, how much is Mike up? My estimate would be that Mike's probably up.
She's so nice and so sweet and plays every single hand.
I don't know.
A poker player's dream. You also may have seen her in the 2009 World Series. She went deep in the main event, and she was often cheering, yeah, king me, king me, king me, baby. Or she had ace queen, she had the nuts, and she's still yelling for better cards.
I am back in the booth. I want to thank Dave Tuckman for doing, once again, a stellar job. So like you said, yeah, they moved it down to 10 1/4. I'm shocked that my friend Susie actually left the game, because this is really like a good spot. Like,
well, she left long before they changed this. That's actually, that's why they changed it, because somebody left, Barry left, then Joel left, then Susie left, and it got shorthanded. They were playing 5 or 6-handed, and Mike said, hey, I see people out here playing at the bike that will play this. We'll play 10-25. They chatted about it. Justin didn't necessarily want to do it, but he was a good sport, and they did. They dropped it to 10-25, and now we have a full game.
You can see here Zach with ace king out of seat 5, and Brian with pocket 10s. Yeah, this is a very good 10-25 game, I must say.
No matter what he says, if he wanted to play, he would play.
And Zach looks like he's 3-bet here, Nicole. It looks like it went raise, re-raise.
Oh, you play.
Yeah, 75 from Brian. Looks like, is it a min raise? Can we see seat 5's raise?
I think it went to 300, or maybe 275.
No, we can't really see it. The dealer's head's in the way.
I'm not leaving until I'm here.
It is 275, you're right.
So it's going to be about a $600 pot and a 3-bet pot here. And again, playing really deep now that it's only 10-25. Well, there's the ace for Zach. Now, remember, Susie Q checked back ace-king in a similar spot like this when the stacks were a little bit shallower here. It looks like Zach is not going to check back, and that was a 4-bet pot.
If Osmilly comes, I might rob a bank to get more money.
And Zach is going to bet. Looks like 300, and he'll take it down there. Brian does not get involved. Easily checked.
Yeah, and you can see the difference that when Brian playing versus Zach as him playing versus Justin. Whereas with Justin, it was a lot of thought. You know, even the same hand versus Justin, probably Brian may have called on that flop.
Yeah, and Marla, let's see, like, I'm definitely surprised. And I mean, I really like Mike's game. He just plays it a little bit too gambling pre-flop. You know, he really does. You can see that he barely ever folds to 3 bets. He's always defending his blind. And he's making a lot of light peels on the flop.
Mike, you cleaned the table. Coming for you. Luck box?
Luck box. Oh, gosh, I could just listen to him all day and just laugh. It's hilarious.
You buy the butter? You buy it?
Yeah. What's that?
Farhad's going to buy the button to get back in the game.
And the funny thing here is that when you have this Mississippi straddle, and sometimes I get confused because I don't play here that often, you can actually straddle the comeback in. You can't straddle in your blind. Like, you couldn't straddle in the small blind, but he could wait a hand and then straddle the cutoff.
Or Zach right now is buying back into the game. He doesn't know, I'm sure, in seat 5 there.
Oh, yeah,
that
he's posting dead. He could be straddling
yeah.
here, which would obviously be much better right out of seat 5. And you can see that no one's really volunteering the information. Whoa, am I getting a little dizzy there? There we go.
We got 3D glasses on here for a second.
Always one action. Okay. You just control the winning, just don't win.
Mike has bumped it up here with the ace-jack, and Zach's called. And so is Farhad, so they get that dead money out there.
3-way action, about almost 400 in the pot pre-flop.
Well, how much money is Farhad going to lose on this one, Nicole? 2 aces have flopped, ace-9 deuce, ace-6 and ace-jack. Wow, and Mike checked it. Oh, and Farhad turns aces up. And look at the draw that Zach picks up. He's got a gutter and a club draw now on the turn. Unbelievable. And this might go bet call. Farhad's checked the turn.
One more
time. So you think that Farhad's definitely going to check raise here.
And Mike bets 3 1/4, so 325. It's up to Zach.
Yep.
He's going to call.
Now, I was going to say, Zach might even put a move on it now, too. And here comes the check raise.
There we go.
And I got to tell you, Nicole, I love this spot if I'm Zach. Because you don't know what I have with the 7-10 of clubs. And Mike has called, and I'm definitely overcalling here with 7-10 of clubs.
Farhad only makes it 700, which is interesting. In the beginning of the day, we saw Farhad make massive overbets into pots with a set. This time, he only is a little more than min-raising, making it 375 more to go with his 2 pair. And that brings both Mike and Zach in.
I mean, I would have called anyways heads up against Farhad because I love this spot because I think Farhad's a monster, and I have a very disguised hand here with the 7-10 of clubs. This pot's over 3,000. Here we go to the river. Well, the river is inconsequential. It's a total brick here. And Farhad has bet out, and Mike beat him in the pot. Farhad bet 1,000, and Mike beat him in the pot, and Mike's going to whine about this one, too. Here we go.
600, I believe, Farhad called out, and then he laughs. And then he laughs.
I think it's 1,000, actually.
Look at him.
Now Mike's mad. Oh, throw those.
It's actually different. It's actually a different point. But yeah, I just always thought.
Do you know the guy that they're actually talking about, Craig?
No,
the
that's
lawyer?
what I'm listening. Apparently, they're talking about playing. And Alec has said he's played in that game before, but he said he was balling on a budget, so it must have been a bigger game than he normally plays.
Well, Craig the lawyer, he's that guy that always looks really, really mad and angry. He's the white guy, like you would know. You would know his face. He plays PLO a lot now too, but he always causes a problem at the table. Skinny white guy,
Another
lawyer.
one of them. There's a lot of them.
Super bitter, just bitter about life in general.
But apparently gives away a lot of money, so everyone lets him be bitter.
He's okay. I mean, he's not a huge spot in the game.
Straddle from Alec on the button. First act will be small blind. That's Zach.
Now, Zach's got king queen off. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does. Looks like he's just gonna limp.
Hold on, Farhad. Not your action.
Straddle.
There we go.
Well, Alex picked up 9s in the straddle, so you would imagine that he is going to bump this up here on the button.
It's called all the way around, except for Justin, who folds. Option on Alec.
Yeah.
There's the raise.
Raise it. 450 more.
Not a small raise.
Here, that guy's great.
1,500.
Wow, and Zach is going to pull the limp re-raise here with blockers, Nicole, with the king-queen offsuit. Really kind of an interesting play. I was wondering when someone was going to limp re-raise a button straddler, and this looks like a very strong play here. So he's made it
1,050.
1,050 more, and Zach is only playing about 5K deep. So you're really not deep enough to set mine. It's a very awkward spot here. And I think that you just, a lot of times, just fold here. Zach's played it really tight. You're not deep enough, again, to set mine. He's limp re-raised under the gun. You wouldn't, a lot of people don't have a bluffing limp re-raise range. And I think a shove back here would be a huge spew. I mean, we can see that Zach would fold. But I think the raise is so big that I think you just get away from the hand. Alec thinking some time with it, but this is really an interesting one. I'm always a fan of somebody that does have a someone that does have a bluff, semi-bluff type of limp re-raising range. From I do it sometimes with suited aces by limp in.
And it's interesting because we haven't seen Zach do anything such as that all night. So he's picked his one spot, made quite a bit of money out of it since there's a 450 raise with 7 limpers at $50 a pop. So
5's not part of it?
one pot.
5 is not part of it? Okay. So if you
made him
want to try, do it again.
a good amount of money.
Okay.
We're talking about the collection pot. Some people are out,
So
some
you
are
got to
in.
your 10, Zach. Zach.
Farho's just having a good old time over there, isn't he? He's up a ton.
Yeah, and I think most of that he won. He did win. He has won quite a bit from Mike since the cameras have been rolling, but he also won quite a bit from bluffing Mike before the cameras even started rolling. So almost all